Good afternoon, I guess, or maybe it's late morning. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adapted Perspective and the Adapted Perspective channel here on YouTube, where I help you make your dreams a reality. If you've seen any of my past videos, you understand I love strategy and targeted strategy. And that awareness is key because I'm going to keep sifting through all these different financial means using our investment strategy along with some everyday down-to-earth common sense. This is an unedited video, so who knows what you'll hear in the background as I film these at my house. If I show our strategy of using closed-end funds, which I don't plan on doing today, then I'll briefly overview the system. And please know that I am not a financial advisor. I am a financial strategist. Now, I'm not out to slander anybody. I'm interested in separating good from bad. All of these financial means people worked on. Now, what the purpose of the work they accomplished, some are pretty bad. The one today is interesting because it's not what we learn in school. So let's get into this. Let me share my screen with y'all. There we go. All right, so this is my Pinterest account with the handle and all that stuff. If you check out the boards, we're going to be inside this meme board. We come over here and scroll pretty much to the very bottom. And we're going to look at this one, which is here. So this is Robert Kiyosaki's system. Robert Kiyosaki is the Rich Dad Poor Dad writer, but he's also written several other books, including this. And it's based on his types of income, but at the same time, it's like the more advanced version. So his three types of income. So you have personal, portfolio, and passive. So in this system, it's a quadrant-based system. So you have the employee version, like what school teaches, what college teaches, what general society teaches. You have the self-employed option. Now, when you go to the bank and you create a business, the easiest answer is, oh, I'm self-employed, like I employ myself. But when you talk about it to other people, you need to get into a habit of calling yourself a business owner. So the reason I say I'm the owner and founder of Adapted Perspective is that sounds more legit than just saying, oh gosh, speaker for or COO of or president of. I own it and I founded it. If you ever sold your business, you would still say I was the founder of this company, despite somebody else running it now. Now it makes you more legit in a way. So you have employee, like what we train people to do in school. Self-employed tax. Used to have self-employment insurance tax. And then you come over to the other side of the quadrant, and now you're a business owner. So it's not only do you own the business, but it's you paying other people to help you do the business. And then you have the investor side of things where, yes, it says money works for you, but depending on your investment, your money may or may not work for you. It's just as important to know how your money's working and what kind of money it's making you. If you think you're an investor because you put your money in the bank, you're not an investor. The bank's paying you 0.5% maybe on your money invested in the bank. Not a great idea. If you have money in the stock market at large, my favorite example is Apple. Apple pays a 0.5% dividend. Inflation on average, between allergies and who knows what, always the interesting stuff that happens on video. Apple pays a 0.5% dividend. Inflation, regardless of what the Fed says, inflation stays around 4%. So you park however much money at Apple. The number doesn't so much matter. So a lot of what I still hear is put money in Apple, it'll be worth more, it'll be worth 10% more in 5 years. Okay. but you're losing 3% of your 3.5% of your money invested every year just based on inflation. So if it does gain 10% over that 5 years, the value of your money goes up. The problem is inflation devalues your money at a rate of 3.5% a year. So you have the standard inflation at 4, your dividend is 0.5%. So you're losing 3.5% of your invested money every year, despite getting the dividend and despite that increase going up. So at the end of that 5 years, you're actually out, your money's been devalued about 7.5%, give or take. Right. So it's great that it's worth more, but it really doesn't matter until you sell it. So the dividend is equally, I would say, almost more important than the value of the stock itself. Closed-end fund-wise, which I'm not going to get into here, but it's a completely different system where we can buy Apple, this, that, the other for a lot cheaper and get a much better dividend, right? That's money that's working for us because regardless of the up and down, the dividend pays. Versus Apple, your stock goes up or down, and it's only paying you 0.5%, and you're losing 3.5% a year, which is a 17.5% devaluation of your money at the end of 5 years. So you have your 10% growth based on stock value. Great. Your money's been devalued by 17.5%. You offset the 10%, and now you have a 7.5% loss. Now you're not going to see it because you see just the number. I bought it here and I sold it there. That's gain. I got a 0.5% dividend every year. Yay. Horrible. Our portfolio is almost 10%. Like if your standard single stock investment is getting you an average of 3 to 4% annual yield, watch my closed-end fund videos because our current portfolio is just under 10% annual yield. And a safe annual yield at that. Put it that if the dividends continue to go back up, it'll be higher. But in this, just because you have money invested in the market or money invested in the bank doesn't actually make you an investor because the money's not really working for you, pending your strategy. Business owner, and Kiyosaki explains this differently. Business owner, so yes, I own a business. In that income and profits and losses. So income isn't profit. It's just money coming in. Profit would be anything you keep after all your outstanding debts are paid. And in a business, like, yes, you can be self-employed. You have a job. You could also call it a business, right? Like you have a business, you just happen to own it. That's a little bit different terminology, but it's the same thing. But the business, what he's talking about is more like you have a bigger business. Your startup LLC expanded and became bigger. But in the business owner scenario, you have a lot of the tax code at your disposal. So if we'll randomly throw numbers around. So if you bring in $5,000 a month, but your expenses are 1,000, that makes your profit $4,000. So you can legally decrease your taxes inside your business. So you can tithe that money. You can take 10% of that. That'd be $400. Now you've got $3,600. You can pay your student or pay your child. In Texas, it's about 1,000 a month. It might be a little bit more, but you can legally pay them 1,000 a month per kid and not pay taxes on the money. Not best way to track it is on a ledger. But now you're at 36. Now you're at 2,600. You could start another business and pay that business for financial strategy. You could, let's see, you can deduct your taxes. You can deduct all your personal stuff. Like there's a lot of ways where you can decrease your actual profit legally. It's almost easier when it's real estate. Changes how you do taxes, changes a lot of things. On the self-employed side, So you own a job. I'm a single entity LLC. Um, but on the self-employed things, it's trading time every day, but you're trying to leverage your system. But it's much easier to treat yourself. So if you view yourself as self-employed, it's I have a job and I'm doing this, but it's almost like you're viewing it as yourself and not as a business. But if you see yourself as a business owner, whether that's a one-person business or a 500 or 5,000 person business, it's a completely different mindset. But the school system keeps you on the left side of that quadrant system. It teaches you to be an employee. Why worry about being somebody else's boss? Work for a company and have a job. And then you kind of get fed up. It's like, okay, well, you could own your own job, right? You could be self-employed. But even then, they really don't want you there. They want you to stay an employee because they want you in the system paying the tax code. So then you end up with maybe I could be self-employed. Maybe I'll start my own thing and try to do that. But that's like we're so used to that employee mindset. You see the job you started very similarly. It honestly takes a while to see yourself as a business. But as soon as you see yourself as a business and you start to see the benefits of having a business, it's a completely different mindset. It really is. And the investor side of things really does depend on your investments. So money works for you. So money in a bank, like 0.5% at Bank of America versus, let's see, last I saw Morgan Stanley was offering a 6 to 7% annual yield off money saved at their place. Now, 7% on whatever isn't that much money, but it's a lot more money compared to a 0.5% on whatever. And if you're in it for the long game, which I mean, that's whether you're trying to build a nest egg or a nest egg that you can then buy something else with, the more money you can pack into that amount. It's like if you started that with $1,000, and I'll pull up the calculator on screen so you can see this. Standard. Let's say you start with 10 grand times 0.5% versus times, that's 5%. 10 times 0.005 versus 10 grand times 0.07. Ooh, 7% is that. Now, that's not a lot of money either way in comparison to what you already have stored. But the next year, it's just a little bit more. And there are calculators that'll do this online. 7 times 7. So the longer you keep it there, the more you get every year, but also the more you add to it, along with the money you continually pack onto it, the faster it grows. So if you've not read a Kiyosaki book, I encourage you to start with Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then if you want a much more challenging read, something that'll take you past the basics, look for this book, his quadrant system. And it's a very different way of viewing money. And that's really what Rich Dad Poor Dad is. This is just the more in-depth version. So Poor Dad would be here. Rich Dad would be here. And it comes down to we all want to do more with money. We all want to give more. We all want to invest more. And whether that investment comes into yourself or into others, but we want to give back and help people. And in this system, depending on how you do your budget and everything else, you're normally paying people at the end of, like paying yourself and paying everything else at the end. And in this system, it's a very different mindset of how to help yourself and how to help other people. So I will call it there. So If you like the content, consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the like button and then head over to Facebook and join my group there called Navigate Your Finances. It's the everyday um, continual battle of figuring out how to navigate finances. I look at personal income and passive income on Facebook. I talk more overall I talk strategy on Facebook in the day to day of things, but then I talk strategy and portfolio income on YouTube. Try to divide it a little bit so it's less confusing all in one place. Uh, as you face the week, remember you're the captain of your ship. That's the whole point of Navigate Your Finances. It's you're the captain of your ship. I'm the captain of my ship. Your ship will go where you steer it. So make sure you know where you're going. Make sure you know why you're going there. Make sure you know your strategy. Have a map, all that stuff that I talk about on Facebook. So make sure you know where you're going because that's where your ship will go. Make sure you know why you're going there. Don't get distracted. Use the map, use your goals, align your compass is what I'm talking about on Facebook, right? All of that stuff, but make sure you know where you're going because that's exactly where your ship's going to go. If you have no idea where you're going to go, your ship will do this and you will waste time. So you have the power to change your life and your financial future. A lot of people will help you, but you have to get really good at figuring out who's helping you and who's not. So make your choice, make a wise choice, make a well-informed choice. And if you don't like what I'm saying, if this doesn't mesh with you, that's fine. Find somebody who speaks to you, find advice that you can appreciate and challenge you, and then take their advice and go. So whatever you have planned, whatever's coming up, it's not going to happen on its own. So make it happen and shock your world with how things go. I wish you a great week, and I will see y'all on another video. Bye-bye.